This week, mid-May, May the 4th has passed. May the 4th be with you. May Day has passed. Cinco de Mayo has passed. We're almost to summer. It's just Rip and I. Beach bodies, vacations, current events. It's a smorgasbord. Enjoy the podcast.
This episode of One Star Recruits is brought to you by 500 Level. It's 500level.com for all the best gear in sports. Listener Joey Days in California, biggest Eagles fan we know. Go get your Jalen Carter draft gear, 500level.com. Andrew Rossi up in San Francisco, go get your Christian Gonzalez Patriots gear, former Oregon Duck. They got mystery shirts for $8, 500level.com. Use the code ONESTAR at checkout for 20% off everything on the site. Let's go.
Yo, aloha. Welcome back to the One Star Recruits podcast. I'm DK, joined as always with my best friend Rip at 25 years. We're one stars on this journey of life, usually surrounded by 5 stars on this podcast. This week, only one stars, Rip and I, but we got a smorgasbord, all kinds of fun stuff. Right off the top, Rip, I love it that you let our guy Joey Days know that we have deals on 500 level Philadelphia Eagles gear. I love it that you're going right at it, Rip. Genius.
We're going right at it, and they have to be right on top of it. Like even more so than some of these teams and fanatics. They have recent draft pick as of last week. They have the gear on 500 level. So if your team got a Paris Johnson or a CJ Stroud or a Bryce Young, go check it out. 500level.com. They have the gear, DK, already. Not even a week after. It's amazing.
Yeah, it's super quick. I love that. That's one of the best parts about 500 level. You know, it's a lot of Arizona Cardinals stuff. You mentioned our guy Paris. Who was his dad, Rip? I wanted to ask you. He mentioned that on draft day that his dad played for the Cardinals. Is he a linebacker?
I think he was somewhere on defense, maybe in the secondary. It was Paris Johnson Sr., so easy name to remember. And I think he had an injury in preseason, so never really actually played that much for the Cards, but there were some cool throwback photos of him in the uniform, and just seeing your son get drafted by the team you played for or almost played for. It had to be an amazing feeling.
Paris. I saw K1, our guy Kyler Murray, Arizona Cardinals quarterback. Might as well be Cardinals at this point in time with our guy Hollywood Brown, I think, at the Phoenix Suns game, sitting courtside. See that, Rip?
Yeah, I wish they wouldn't have shown it. I mean, he led the team to a 4-13 record, probably the number 1 overall pick in the 2024 NFL draft. He's going to lead them to that spot. But, I could have done without that 2-second cameo from K1. I was enjoying that Suns game until they showed that.
Really? He chaps your hide that much? I'm happy he's out supporting Arizona sports. That's what your quarterback should do. I mean, maybe this is a complete year of change. We just don't know. Inside, mentally, physically, you've got a couple years now. You've got a couple of your guys surrounded by you now. Maybe we're being too hard on this dude.
All I can say to that is enjoy it while it lasts. In a couple of years, they probably won't even show you at the game because we're going to have our guy Caleb Williams from USC taking his spot, taking his job. K1 will probably be on the Panthers or the Broncos or somewhere like that.
Man, you love doing that. You love doing this. What does the receiving core look like if Hop stays on? It's Brown, Hopkins. Who's the third? Who's the slot?
Greg Dortch, baby.
Is this Dortch's year, right? This is the year that Dortch becomes that really integral part that opens up the run, maybe in the slot. Who knows? It could be more exciting. I appreciate that he's out at Suns games. Suns games are exciting. I mean, we have really the Denver Nuggets are really sound basketball team, but the Phoenix Suns have better individual players outside of the center, Jokic, and they've been tough games. I admit that I thought it might have been over after going down 0-2, but then you see the greatness of Booker. He's had 40 plus and really looks unstoppable on offense. And we've had Kevin Durant, who's now soaking into this flow of this team and what this team. We thought this Rip, kind of what we're seeing right now, is when he got injured. Remember when he slipped in warmups and hurt his ankle?
Yeah, I mean, I think this is only his 18th game with the team, and because of that, he missed like 10.
Yeah, thank you. 18th game. So I think he's completely scrubbed the new guy at the school. Who's my crew? How do I park? Where do I use my pass? he's comfortable. You move to a new neighborhood. You're like, where's my gas station? How do I get my, you got to figure out your stuff until it's comfort. It's just muscle movement. So really, really loving that they've been able to fight back with the Valley, and that's helpful. That's helpful for your quarterback to be sitting courtside. It's helpful for your owner, Matt Ishbia, to be, fuck you, Jokic, you're playing it in our house. You're playing in the Valley. You're playing in Phoenix. And you know what? If the ball lands, Mom, the basketball landed in Matt Ishbia, who is the new owner of the Phoenix Suns, who's an ex-basketball player. So he's used to, Rip, that's probably happened to him at Michigan State before, being at the end of the bench where he's caught a ball. And he just didn't give it back to the opposing team as quick as maybe some people thought he should have. I didn't care too much. You're the owner. You are involved in the game. I've watched Mark Cuban run out on the court. In my head, I'm thinking multiple times, run out on the court to break up fights or even to argue, whatever he does. And anyway, this guy Ishbia kind of holds the ball for a second. Bam Bam Bigelow, Phoenix Suns fan, behind him kind of gives this Joker a push. And then he does, when he did too much, Matt Ishbia, the owner, he kind of did a flop, which, it's not great. We don't like flops in this country. Nick B might like it in Premier League. Remind me to talk about JJ Watt too, Rip. He just bought a minority stake in a Premier League soccer team. So it seems to be the hot shit. But back to Ishbia, he just held the rock for a sec. He got the push and then he did the flop. Why does this matter, Mom? Why is this anything? Well, I think it kicks ass. I want to have this type of owner versus the owner that comes once a month, sits in his courtside seats and plays the game. Give me an owner who cares. Give me an owner who hooped a little bit. Give me an owner who's not afraid to hold the ball when a 7'2" Serbian huge beast is in front of you, pissed off, ready for the ball. And Joker, you know what, bro? What's your fucking rush? I've seen this a million times, Rip. This shit is so annoying to me. Grab the ball and rush to stand out of bounds. You have to give it back to the ref, and the ref has to make sure everything's good and then gives back to you. It's not like you're gaining some super advantage. It's not like what's a game where you get the ball quicker and you can go quicker. I don't even know what game exists like that. So what you're doing is just being obnoxious anyway, but I love it. Welcome Ishbia. Welcome to the Phoenix Suns. I don't give a shit moving forward now that nobody got suspended. It got washed under the bridge. It wasn't a Draymond Green situation where somebody got suspended in a playoff game. I guess it kind of could be okay. You're not physically supposed to touch anybody, I don't think, outside of the lines of the game. There's a big spiel on represent 602. Good job. Way to hold home court. Way to put courtside seats to celebrities that we have. I didn't see Alice Cooper. That shit's gone. That's not what us anymore. We're just like LA. We're just like New York. I can't think of any other celebrities we saw right now. And Joey Days hates all this talk right now. It's our Eagles fans, listeners, because big Lakers guy. So it's not the same, but we're building something the same. And I'll take Ishbia over Jeannie Buss in ownership and that attitude over sit and talk with your friends any day of the week. So hopefully that's the push, Rip, that the Suns maybe need to go to Denver and just win a game. A little push from the owner. You think it's stupid? You think this is all stupid?
No, and it's always for some reason we record on every Tuesday, and for some reason there's always a Suns game on Tuesday night, so it's always a little weird to talk about this because by the time this episode's out Wednesday, that's a little bit in the past, depending on what happens with the huge Game 5 tonight. But yeah, it's funny, DK. I thought all my hate, I always direct my anger and hate toward a player from the opposing team in a series. And going in, I thought it was going to be Michael Porter Jr. I can't stand his shot selection. I can't stand that he's almost 7 foot and just shoots tons of threes. But man, it's actually it's been directed toward Jokic, and that was a big part of it. Is that Ishbia thing? It almost felt like a 1-star Malice in the Palace, like when Ron Artest went up into the crowd. It was one of those. It's like I said, don't put your hands on a fan, no matter what. And in the press conference, Jokic is trying to act like he didn't know it was the owner of the Suns and this and that. It's like, come on, man. But the funny thing about it too is that a flop is a flop, right? It was a great flop by Ishbia, but the fact that it was not premeditated, that was like impeccable acting because he had no idea that was going to happen, and he still had the wherewithal to pull off like a probably a 3.5-star flop, which is not easy, DK.
He's an expert. He sat at the end of a bench for 4 years, and he was the guy who started like the end of bench celebrations and the how can we get involved in the game without getting involved in the game. So I think he just went back to his Michigan State days, and I don't know if people know that he's the owner. I don't think I would know. He wasn't sitting in normal owner seats. He was in that corner deck, that corner pocket, which most owners tend to sit closer to center court usually. So who knows? But shit, it was fun. And Valley stand up. Retired guy for the Valley. I wanted to talk about JJ Watt. He bought a Premier League club, or on its way to Premier League, I guess. They just won out of the secondary league B or whatever, and they're moving on up. But he got in with his wife, who's a soccer player, Burnley. He's currently there doing pub crawl for research. Rip, you used to fucking love pub crawls. It was maybe your favorite thing at one point in time for like a 5-year period. True or false?
Oh, it's true. And actually, Friday, Cinco de Mayo, I was driving home from a Little League game, and I saw a bunch of like 23-year-olds on bikes coming out of Taco Beach over here in Long Beach, and getting ready to go to their next leg on the pub crawl for Cinco de Mayo. And yeah, it brought back some memories, DK, and I'm not ashamed to say it. Those were 5-star back in my 20s.
The best pub crawl that comes to your mind, straight up, best one you ever did?
Probably for my bachelor party. You were there. It was we rented one of those kind of Surrey bikes with I think we could drink on the bike. It was like 10 of us, and we drove it down 2nd Street in Long Beach, made like 3 or 4 stops. You remember that? Or were you blacked out? That was a fun time.
No, I wasn't. I never get blacked out. Maybe once in my whole life have I ever been blacked out. Yeah, we got the big carts. I remember who's the big homie? AJ was faded, and he was just keeping that cart pumping. How many bars did we do on that crawl? That wasn't a big
I think
one.
It wasn't a huge one. It was like 4, but we had this big, slow, like Surrey type thing with 10 people on it and a bar, and we're rolling that thing down 2nd Street in Long Beach at like 3 miles an hour because half the crew wasn't pedaling and all that stuff. But yeah, so it was probably 4 bars, but that was a memorable night.
You love them. I fucking hate pub crawls, actually. Now that we're talking about it, I know we celebrated for your birthday and you love them, and that's why opposites attract. I think the whole concept is I would rather do a food crawl. I'd rather do a progressive food crawl. I guess you could combine the two, but I don't love to drink, and I don't love huge crowds, and that kind of combines huge crowds and drinking and taking over bars. However, bar owners, fucking huge W, huh? When a pub crawl rolls in 50 deep, even 20 deep, gets a couple drinks, huge win for the bar, right?
Maybe I'll set one up for my 50th, just because I know you hate them, and I
don't hate them.
You're obligated to be there.
I mean, if you wanted to put together a Cambodian noodle tour in Long Beach, that excites me more. That's all I'm saying.
How about a dispensary crawl where we go eat an edible at like 5 different dispensaries? Does that work? Is that a thing?
More interesting. And that would be the food just comes naturally to that one. And maybe the drink too. Maybe that's the way to start it. Maybe it's progressive. It starts with edibles. It moves to food. It finishes with drink. That works for me.
1-star business idea. Dispensary crawls. Never been done before. Let's start it up.
They've never lasted past the first 20 minutes. The first edible hits and they're done. It's over. You go, you take it to fucking Cane's Chicken and it's over after the first hit.
You need a line of 5 dispensaries in a row and then a Cane's Chicken at the end, or a Taco Bell at the end. Then that's your business model right there.
I don't even know if those are the best restaurants. You might need to take them to a Jollibee. That might be the right restaurant. Just blow their mind. They're eating Filipino spaghetti all of a sudden on 100 milligrams. Maybe I like that idea, man.
This is what you get from the 1-star recruits when we have no guest, DK. 2.5-star business ideas that will never succeed.
Oh my God. You know The Bear? You ever watch that? You see that TV show about the restaurant in Chicago? I think that was one of my recs of the week. Do you ever watch it?
It was your rec of the week. I haven't seen it yet.
Oh, season 2 is about to drop. I saw it. Getting me excited. I like that show. I don't have a lot of shows to get into. I'm kind of cruising around. I go in and out of Everybody Calls Saul. You know, I can't really stay focused. This one I saw is coming, the season 2 premiere. I got a little bit excited about. What else, man? I kind of miss Texas. I kind of miss Texas now that I'm not there. How about that? What do you think about the Houston Texans owner getting involved with the CJ Stroud situation? Now he's saying he didn't want him. Now that he wants him, maybe this is going to be like a secret a secret pick that's going to be it? The CJ Stroud situation in Houston? Is it that would be the team that the critics are saying are going to fight for the Cardinals for Caleb Williams?
Probably. I mean, the organization seems like a disaster. They bungled the Deshaun Watson stuff. But I mean, look, CJ Stroud is as promising as a quarterback as you can get in this draft. I would have taken him over Bryce Young, to be honest. So, but
Damn.
it might be one of those situations where he's walking into just a bad organization and he's destined to fail. But hopefully, he can get past that stuff.
Would you rather have these owners that are, it's not full Jerry Jones because he's full CEO, head of the board, fucking he's in it from everything. What do you, I'm trying to kind of get my hands around because I'm watching Ishbia. I'm like, I kind of like this. When the Warriors, when I spent some time there in Golden State, I saw the transition from Chris Cohan to the Lake Ups and Goober group. I kind of like that style. That was also a hands-on style, but surround yourself with smart people, a little bit different than Jerry Jones does. Anyway, here we are with Ishbia. We got like the owner down in Houston getting involved. What would you rather have? An owner that gets super involved, a mid-level guy who can balance? I know Rip's going to say the mid, or just a money guy who kind of doesn't care. What do you think?
I want a combination of both, and my ideal is Steve Ballmer. He's a money guy, probably the richest guy in the NBA.
He's the richest owner in sports, Rip. He's the richest owner in all of sports, period.
There you go. So richest owner in sports, one of the top probably 100 richest people in the world, and just his enthusiasm. That's the only time you ever see him is when he's completely going nuts, celebrating the team. He doesn't do interviews. He doesn't get involved in signings or GM stuff. So he's present, but he's not meddling in the team affairs like a Jerry Jones or maybe a little bit Mark Cuban type. Like Mark Cuban is too present. He does the celebrations too, which is great. But so I'm a little worried about this start for Ishbia because it's a little too much. I mean, he obviously didn't ask for this situation, but he did the flop and all that. So I really don't want to hear from the guy again for the next few years, unless it's like signing a big name or making a big trade but he shouldn't be involved in the trades. He shouldn't be involved in that stuff. So I don't want to hear from him too much. I just want to see him celebrating wins on the sidelines.
He came out too, I think last week, that he's got a beef with Dan Gilbert. Both
terrible timing, by the way. Terrible timing.
Terrible timing, Rip. Exactly right. He has one of his older children passed away. Bad timing, but we learned in that same realm that we have an owner beef. We have two owners from the same city in Detroit. They both have large businesses in Detroit, both mortgage businesses in Detroit, and I guess there's more bad blood, which Rip doesn't want to hear from them. Bad timing, bad PR, but also kind of back to the good old days of owners not liking each other. Why should we all like each other? So we'll see. We'll see. Owners in sports are more frontal than I think ever, and that's because shit is so expensive. So put up that much money for this luxury item, which is what a sports team is for billionaires. It's essentially a limited item, hard to get your hands on, and you can shut down anybody at a party. Rip's going to talk about his kids. What are you going to talk about, Rip? You're managing the little league team. You got a minivan. They own a fucking soccer team. You're done. You're not going to be, they're going to trump you in those conversations. Not that we hang out with any owners. Damn, we need an owner on this podcast. We're going deep into owner talk. We've never had any type of owner. I'll even take a small time owner.
But it's like those rich people problems, right? Like you're the CEO of United Wholesale Mortgage, so you don't get much airtime. You're talking to maybe trade magazines, and so hey, I'll go buy an NBA team so I can be front and center and be present and sit courtside and get a lot of attention. So that's kind of what it feels like, and that's it felt like that with Dan Gilbert for a while too. So like I said, it's rich people problems. I don't really want to see it. I just want to see you celebrating wins and championships.
Enough owners talk. NBL rookie team was announced, of course. Your kid's favorite player in the league, which is tight. Pablo Banchero headlines it. Anything excite you from all rookie teams and in the NBA? Do you give a shit about that, Rip?
The one thing that excited me the most, aside from Banchero, is Jalen Williams, Arizona's own Jalen Williams from the Thunder. Under the radar, kind of not a loud spoken guy. He's not out there, but he got named to that first team all rookie team. We had obviously had his brother Cody on last month, who's about to enter the Pac-12 at University of Colorado. So, projected number one pick next year. So following in J-Dub's footsteps, the Williams family. Cool to see that. I love seeing Arizona guys succeed, especially when they're sleepers like Jalen was.
Yeah, it is. It's a good time. Back to the Valley. People representing the Valley of the Sun, where Rip and I are from, where we love very much. Austin Matthews still alive in the NHL playoffs, barely hanging on. The Maple Leafs. Seems like the Maple Leafs are Canada's team, the Dallas Cowboys of Canada, and they just can't get a break. The fucking Florida Panthers. Who are the Florida Panthers? Who is a Florida Panther fan? Like, you have to grow up in like exactly the right area, exactly the right time to be a fan of the Florida Panthers. Meanwhile, it's like the Green Bay Packers of the NHL, and these guys can never get to the final. Do you give a shit, Rip? You watching any of this hockey? You hear about the draft? You hear about the NHL draft?
Yeah, Chicago Blackhawks secured the number one pick. Our guy Train is pissed about that, saying it's all rigged. And I didn't realize the Blackhawks won, what was it, 3 titles with Patrick Kane over the last like 15 years or so. And now they kind of, are rebooting and have that number one pick who's like, sounds like as much of a lock as anyone in the past 10 years to be a star.
It's an NHL glitch, just like there's NBA glitches where the system, I think, can maybe be adjusted. The Chicago Blackhawks are an NHL blue blood team, along with the Toronto Maple Leaf, the New York Rangers, not the Florida Panthers, not the Columbus Yellow Jackets, whatever, and definitely not the team that had the most ping pong balls and should have won this thing. It might have helped your home value, Rip. The Anaheim Mighty Ducks got completely shit on. I don't even know who the number. This is like a LeBron draft for this guy, Connor. I'm gonna massacre his name, and I should know it, Rip.
Connor Bedard.
Big Bedard.
Yeah, I want to see a title for like the San Jose Sharks or the Arizona Coyotes or the Columbus Blue Jackets. I don't want to see any more titles go to Chicago or Boston or Tampa.
Yeah, I know the Coyotes were in there. Their logo is so sick. That Coyote logo is the best logo in the whole mashup. They were in there. They had 2 picks. Not supposed to get it, but hearts were crushed. I mean, this is a Victor Wembanyama draft pick. This kid, it kind of looks scrawny. He kind of looks like I'd be able to beat him up a little bit, but what do I know? There's this guy, Jack Hughes, who got drafted a couple years ago to the New Jersey Devils. He's kind of an offensive specialist now. $160, $165, maybe out there scoring goals and looking just like a specialist king. But these hockey players don't have to be huge anymore. You just got to be fast, and then you have some huge guys protect you. I'm kind of into the NHL. I've been enjoying it. I'm looking forward to hopefully not the Florida Panthers versus the Seattle Kraken in the finals. We might be leading to something like that. I kind of like at least give me a Lakers or a Celtics. You need a team in there, Rip. I know you were just saying you want to see some normies out there. I will lose interest in a Kraken Florida Panthers final. I need to get one blue blood in there is my request for that.
Hey, it doesn't take much to lose interest in hockey. Apologies to see more and Train, but look, that's exactly what I want to see, DK, is I want to see the Kraken versus the Panthers and give someone a title who's never had one before. That's why if the Suns lose to the Nuggets, that's why I will be rooting for Denver to win it all.
NHL, no, good product to get on the TNT too. I think I appreciate them cleaning it up a little bit. Small little thing they do, they put the players' names above there, like a NHL hockey game, video game. So keep it up, NHL. Not bad at all. Rip, if you were 18 years old, take your best self back to 18 years old. Big old ears you had, probably some bad cargo shorts and a barbecue stain on your white t-shirt. Anaheim or Chicago, the gods bless you and say, we're going to select you. You're going to be a professional softball player. You can go to Chicago or Anaheim. Where would you rather go?
Oh, it's hands down Anaheim. I literally moved to Southern California when I was 18, so I'd make that same decision all over again. You can't beat the weather. There's a lot of problems in California, but weather's not one of them. 100% Anaheim every day. Let's make it a little more interesting, though, because Victor Wembanyama, like you mentioned, is, I believe, 18 years old. And the way the NBA restructured their lottery, that the bottom 4 teams have an equal chance of getting that top pick, which I think even the 5 and 6 worst teams have a slight chance. But You're looking at Wembanyama going to either the Hornets, the Spurs, the Pistons, or the Rockets, DK. Where would you rather go? Where's the best fit for Wembanyama? I have my answer. I'm curious to see your opinion. Hornets, Pistons, Spurs, or Rockets?
Gosh, Franz is so good in Orlando. It's Orlando with the team, the vibe, the surrounding things.
Hey, I didn't even say Orlando. I said Hornets, Spurs, Pistons, or Rockets. Not Magic. Magic had like the 5th or 6th worst record, so they barely have any chance. It's Hornets, Pistons, Spurs, or Rockets.
For a project to stay under the radar, for me to work on my game and be able to focus and come into a city and be a complete hero and take control of my team, Detroit Pistons would be my recommendation if I was talking to Wem, as I call him, Big Wem. Say, Big Wem, Detroit. It's up and coming. You can be the star. You're not going to be on nationally televised TV games. You're not going to have all kinds of drama. There's no egos on this team. Easy place to slide into. Low expectations there. Remember the 7'2" Darko? Remember that? People still remember that. So those are the expectations. So you get to come in and exceed them immediately. So Detroit Pistons, Webb, go ahead.
Detroit, man, you're destined for failure, DK. It's a franchise that hasn't been good in a long time. I think the only answer is the San Antonio Spurs. You got Popovich as a coach who's coached many international players before, a history of #1 picks, a history of championships, and who obviously tanked, pretty much on purpose the last couple of years to get this guy. I think he's destined to be a Spur. Those are my thoughts, but we'll see. I think, is it tonight?
2 weeks.
2 weeks. Okay.
I think it's coming up pretty soon. Yeah. Exciting times. Yeah. San Antonio is the easy answer, Rip. That's the easy answer. That's like, and two,
it's the only answer.
I think we got to start fresh though. I like the Great Lakes. People shit on the Great Lakes. Beautiful place. Great real estate deal still to be had on the Great Lakes up in Michigan.
I don't see Victor as a square pizza guy. I don't know. I don't see him in Detroit. I see him eating a round pizza somewhere down in the Alamo. I see him as a Spur, DK. I can't go back on that. DK, moving on to the other Western Conference series, just in 60 seconds, because you worked for the Warriors for a long time. They're down 3-1 to the Lakers, but decent rivalry going there. But answer the question, because if they lose, it feels like the dynasty has ended. A, are they done? Have you buried them against the Lakers? And B, if they do lose, is that the end of the dynasty? I want to hear it straight from your mouth.
From my mouth, I don't know about the dynasty. A lot of it depends on what happens with Draymond Green, I think. I'm more excited watching and rooting for the Lakers, though. This story is much better. You have LeBron. You have Anthony Davis. Terrific. The Warriors have the Splash Brothers and Draymond Green. Great. We get it. The story is unfolding on the second level of this series, and what has me rooting for the Lakers, essentially. The bench, the guys who need to step up in these situations, the guys who need to have these, they're like NCAA moments in the playoffs this year. It's been so incredible for me to watch. And you have the other side of it, the sad side, Jordan Poole, Kuminga on the Warriors, not coming in and doing what they're supposed to do. And then you have Austin Reeves, and you have Landry Shamet on the Suns, and you have guys like Lonnie Walker, who got written off pretty much. A bunch of guys who shoot, and you're like, no. Then it goes in and say yes, who are getting relied on in the fourth quarter of huge playoff games. With that said, if I look at that second layer of the cake, the Lakers and the Phoenix Suns, obviously my team's the Phoenix Suns, and a lot of this is Shamet, and this is recency bias, but the Lakers side of it goes back to the Memphis series, where LeBron's passing up opportunities in the fourth quarter, and Anthony Davis, he's relying on his bench rip, and it's working out, and it's really fantastic to see. It's like it has me rooting, it has me excited. It's unexpected. You're used to the stars doing star stuff. You're not used to the second layer doing stuff. And in LA, it's super cool, man. In Phoenix, it's pretty cool. We're getting there, Phoenix. In LA, it's super cool. So Warriors, I'm rooting for the Lakers at this point in time, and it's due to the bench in the second level. I don't like Jordan Poole. I think a lot of people don't like Jordan Poole. And I know you're sitting there like, fuck you, DK. I don't like fucking Devin Booker. I don't like Campaign. At some point in time, sports tugs on your heartstrings. and you start rooting for teams. And what I think the Lakers are doing, I think they're playing for their big bro. They're playing for LeBron, and Anthony Davis is learning the way. He's learning the way that other guys in Cleveland learned with LeBron. And you end up fighting for this dude, and that effect in sports you cannot contain. That's the Ray Lewis effect. When these guys start fighting for things that are bigger than basketball, they start fighting for legacies, and they start fighting for people beyond themselves. And in this case, it's LeBron, and I think it's Pelinka, and I think there's a lot of emotion in that whole thing. So holy shit, I'm saying it right here. Go Lakers. I'm over the Warriors.
Wow, that's a crazy take. I can't believe I'm hearing you say that. I would never ever root for the Lakers under any circumstances, especially since they're one win away from possibly playing our Phoenix Suns in the Western Conference semifinals. But I'm not counting the Warriors out, DK. I would never count a team with 4 championships out. LeBron beat them down 3-1 back in 2018. I think it gets reversed this time. I'm calling it. Warriors are going to win the next 3 and make it to the Western Finals again, where they might lose against Denver or Phoenix, but I think they're going to get back there. All the momentum's with the Lakers right now. Anthony Davis is somehow healthy. I think he gets hurt at some point in the rest of the series. I'm not wishing that on anybody, but it's just his track record. And I'm thinking the Warriors get out of this, DK. The dynasty is not over yet.
Good takes. I wish I was there. We had a 1-star listener, Simmons, taking photos from the Suns game there. We saw my guy, John Rahm. They gave him a Phoenix Suns jersey. Rip, you immediately found a picture of John Rahm 10 minutes before, same seat location, without a Suns jersey on. I did figure out what happened there. What was your theory?
I thought it was an imposter trying to get his attention, but that makes sense if they gave him a jersey, he probably put it on for 10 minutes and then took it off. But
bingo.
Yeah.
I confirmed with our guy Simmons that not in Gilbert. They gave it to him. He put it on. They announced his name. He did the stand up, and then dude like that ain't wearing a jersey. Did have his own name on it though. If he wasn't a Masters champion, if he was just a golfer from Phoenix who happened to have courtside seats, they probably would have given him just a Booker jersey. They took the time to go make him a jersey. So John Rahm was there. Beautiful. I wish I was there. I wish I could recommend going to an NBA playoff game because I did last year. I was there. I felt the energy. This year it's all television. All right, Rip, we've been doing it for weeks. We're going to keep it going. 1-star moments. We all have moments during our week that we don't talk about. We're going to talk about them. What happened to you, Rip? What's your 1-star moment of the week?
That's our life, DK. We're 1-stars. I did a 1-star thing that probably every person in America, every person in the world knows not to do this week. And it's close to you, DK. Everybody knows not to put leather in the washing machine, right? Fact or fiction? Fact, no one puts leather in the washing machine. You gave all your groomsmen at your wedding a nice backpack embroidered with their initials. It was a Herschel backpack about 10 years ago at your wedding. I've held it near and dear to my heart. I've worn that thing all the time. It's my main backpack. I don't think I've washed it in 10 years, to be honest, because it doesn't really get too dirty from what I see. But I did it this week. I washed it, and I didn't think that it had a leather bottom. I glossed over the fact that it had a leather bottom. So now, DK, it was a 10-star backpack. Now it's probably about a 6-star because the leather has all peeled off the bottom of the backpack. But I'll tell you what, I'm still gonna rock it because you're my guy. It's like I said, it's a sentimental thing. I've had it for 10 years. It's my main backpack. I'm still gonna rock it to the gym all the time with that washed out leather bottom. But that's my one.
I mean, it's called the dirty bottom. It's kind of fashionable now. People like things that have life. It's called patina, Rip. Okay, it just means you're classy. It means you're classy now. That's not like a JanSport. Okay, you're probably did you have the JanSport or the East Pack? Do you remember? Or the East Bay Pack? What was your backpack?
I had the JanSport, whatever you could get at Target for like $19.99 was the thing I got every year.
Yeah, well, JanSports are kind of the fancy. The cool kids had the JanSports. You used to wear that thing real low on your back.
Yeah, it was always way too big because I was like the smallest kid in the entire school, like all the time. So it was always way too big, like drooping low.
All right, 1-star moment in socializing in the world. Me back in the world, talking to human beings. Ran into a brother, a friend's brother, who looked like his friend, very similar. But I decided to comment on the shape of his sunglasses, and the comment was, "You tell me if I'm wrong or if I'm right, Rip. I don't know." The comment was, it's a good choice of sunglass frames for your face. He had a very square face, but he chose round sunglasses, so it worked. You can't have a round face and wear round sunglasses. It's too round. You look like a bubble. You look like you ate a plate or something. You have to have the balance, and he had the balance. But the comment didn't connect with him fully. He goes kind of like, what? Like he didn't fully connect. I said, it's a good thing, man. I feel like you have really good balance in your face. Your frames match it. And he kind of just went to, I got them on sale. I don't usually, like, it was a mistake. And I realized I'm bad at doing compliments. I got to be even more direct in my compliments, because that's unclear. I found myself in compliment purgatory with that one.
Yeah, I think the problem is the poor guy's probably been insecure about the shape of his face his entire life and self-conscious about it. And you just, while trying to compliment him, you also called out that he has that shaped face. It's a little cringy, a little like asking an overweight woman if she's pregnant or when she's due.
No. He had a Tom Brady, Buzz Aldridge square face. It wasn't a bad one. It was a good one. It was a good square rotation. Maybe. I don't think a level of pregnancy. It connects with me as a glasses wearer 100%. I understand contrast in glasses. Okay, Rip?
Hey, you can tell everything by his reaction, man. You'll walk a mile in his shoes with that face, and you'll know what it feels like, man. I'm telling you.
I then learned he was here in Hawaii to pick up his dog. He's getting a dog in Hawaii, and then he showed me a picture of the dog. It is a Italian Greyhound. Kind of looks like if a spider was a dog, is what this man is coming out here to pick up. So maybe
does it have a square face? Does the dog have a square face as well?
A lot of long square face. Indeed, it does. Dogs do look like humans. That is a true fact, man. Very true fact. Let's spin right into recommendations of the week. I'll stay on the leather track. Thank you, Rip. Listeners, I gave all my groomsmen backpacks filled, and that's not the tight gift. That's the gift thing that Rip's talking about, and I put their initials embroidered on it. But the nice thing about that groomsman gift, if you're looking for one or need an idea for one, or just need an idea for a party, you just fill it up with all of their favorite snacks, because then real fast you personalize what is just a backpack, then becomes full of their favorite snacks, so it's personalized. Less than $20. Genius idea. Recommendation of the week for me, in the same leather. I'm going to stay in the leather family. A listener of the pod, Matt Saporito, go out and get some New Jersey Devils gear before they're kicked out of the playoffs. I think they got their ass kicked again tonight. Runs an amazing company out of Bozeman, Montana called Brickbound. It's a bespoke, naturally sourced leather company. He does everything by hand in these designs, and his bags are so cool. I'm doing my part right now in replacing my shitty ass Costco bags and my bags I got from my parents' house randomly with a nice set of what really are really confident boosters when I travel. They're really cool bags. So designed and built in Bozeman, Montana, brick bound. I mean, stylish, functional. It's really made of high grade materials. We posted a pic, I think, brick bound. If you're in the market for a good leather work bag, for a weekender bag, something just to go, maybe you're going up north for the weekend or whatever. Check it out. Brick bound, straight out of Bozeman, Montana. Support them. Matt Saporito.
I second that. At brick_bound on Instagram. Great content, great follow on Instagram as well. Everybody check it out. Brickbound. My rec of the week actually involves laundry as well as my 1-star moment of the week, but this time it's for something positive. It's you probably heard of it before. It's kind of a weak one, to be honest, but there's a lot of parents right now whose kids are playing sports, spring sports like baseball and volleyball and spring soccer, and they're coming home with dirty uniforms, grass stains, dirt stains, all that. What we found is just a spray called OxyClean that my son's uniform is white. It's white baseball pants, which is the worst. He comes home for sure. He doesn't slide or get dirty, and he still comes home with grass stains. It's crazy. But you spray a little OxyClean on there, let it set for 5 minutes, put it in the washer. They come out as good as new. So it's like $5 at Target. So yeah, pro parenting tip is just OxyClean to get any tough stains out of sports uniforms. DK.
Amazing. Always Rip with the helpful stuff.
Were you I know you played baseball for about 1.5 years when you were 7. Were you 7 or 8 years old? Were you
good.
Were you a get the uniform dirty, or were you stay away from contact?
Nope. Get dirty, stay dirty. Played shortstop, and I was cool even dirty on the run of it. Yeah, I appreciate dirty, man. I'm a dirty dog. We're out here doing our best, Rip. It's all about It's all about trying to get little tips. You do little good parenting tips like that all the time. Nick B is going to write you a text message saying that he's using it for his soccer equipment.
As long as he's not sending me any like blurry pictures and asking me to solve a riddle, that guy is blowing up our group text with something we can't even understand, DK, because it's completely blurry.
Yeah, that was one of the worst ever. I'm glad that nobody else, but he kept following up. Very strong man. Well, let's hit the music, Rip. We'll do everybody's favorite section with you. This is what they wait for. If you stick around with us, we're going to do some random facts. Hit the music. Rip, what do we have to do with AK-47s and guns in the state of Texas? There's another Texas mall shooting. What would you do?
Sadly, it's never going to happen, especially in Texas, but outlaw all guns, man. There's no need for them. I'll get some heat for that for sure, but I mean, look at what's happening every day. There's no need for guns. Let's just hammer out our differences over an arm wrestling match or a good old-fashioned argument or even a fist fight is better than an AK-47.
Even fisticuffs, Rip. I'm with you. At least no more AK-47s. How about, Rip? How about, I saw Prince Harry came in for the coronation, then he flew out real fast. What do you think of Prince Harry and King Charles' coronation? Did he steal the show?
I didn't watch it. I didn't watch 1 second of it. The only related thing I saw that was Meghan Markle was hiking without Harry somewhere in Los Angeles, out here where I live. She looked like she could use a cheeseburger, DK. So I think she should have went to that coronation just for the fish and chips. But yeah, that's not in my wheelhouse, that coronation.
Not in your wheelhouse. Hey, momentum in F1. It was back in Miami. Max Verstappen won. Doesn't seem to have the momentum that it has last year. Losing momentum or gaining momentum? F1 racing.
Definitely losing momentum in America. It's probably huge in Europe, like soccer, but I think soccer and F1 are both losing momentum, DK. You know why? It's because these NBA playoffs, train.
Get used to it. Phoenix Suns, we need a miracle right now. Rip's recording the game. I'm not going to say anything. We just need a miracle, and I'm speaking it into existence at the end of this podcast. Listeners, we love you so damn much. Go to 500 level. The best way to support us right now is 5 stars, but then 500 level. Rip killed it, man. I think if you have any players on your team that you love, go grab a shirt, man. I have a King Griffey Jr. shirt that I wear around my complex. I get high fives all the time. Big King Griffey Jr. fans, retirees here in Maui. 500 level, code 1 star. We love you all so much. We'll see you next week.
We'll be back with some NFL guys next week, and happy Mother's Day to all the moms out there. Nikki, Jackie, Janelle, Marlis, every other mom in the world. Happy Mother's Day. See you next week.
Let's go.